You are standing in the kitchen, looking for a sauce to make your salad a little more satisfying. Just a bit of mayonnaise. It is not the main ingredient, but without it, some dishes can feel bland and dry, as if the flavors are merely sitting beside one another instead of coming together. It is everywhere, and yet its name sounds as though it belongs in an aristocratic European kitchen. Mayonnaise feels elegant, old, and slightly mysterious. It appears in sandwiches, salads, fries, sushi rolls, and even cakes. So why does its name sound like it belongs in a classic European dining room? Was it named after a place, a person, or the method used to create it? Before tracing the name, though, we should begin with something simpler. What exactly is mayonnaise? Let's get into it right here on Secrets of Simple Things. A sauce made more by chemistry than by cooking. Mayonnaise is more than a pale, creamy condiment. At its core, it is an emulsion, a blending of oil, egg yolk, and an acid such as lemon juice or vinegar. That may sound simple, but the result is delicate. Oil and water-based ingredients do not naturally want to stay together, yet when they are whisked the right way, they turn into something thick, smooth, and glossy. What makes mayonnaise especially interesting is that it is not really built by heat. It comes together through motion, timing, and structure. In that sense, it feels less like ordinary cooking and more like a small kitchen transformation. A few familiar ingredients become something entirely different from what they were alone. And that quiet strangeness makes its refined name feel even more intriguing. If the sauce itself is so simple, yet so unusual, the next question becomes almost unavoidable. Where did it begin? The sauce that may have begun in a port called Mahón, the most familiar explanation takes us back to 1756, to the island of Minorca, off the coast of Spain. At that time, French forces under the Duke of Richelieu captured the island during the 7 Years' War. According to the story most often repeated, the victory called for a grand meal, and the Duke's chef was expected to prepare something worthy of the occasion. He did not have cream, an ingredient that mattered greatly in many French sauces of the time. So instead of following tradition, he improvised. He took olive oil and eggs and whisked them into something new, a sauce that was rich, smooth, glossy, and unlike the cream-based preparations the table might have expected. Because this new sauce was said to have appeared in the port of Mahón, many believed it was first called Mayonnaise, the sauce from Mahón. It is a wonderfully tidy explanation, and perhaps that is exactly why it endured. But history rarely stays that tidy for long, and mayonnaise is no exception. A story too neat to end the mystery. The story of Mahón is compelling, but that may be part of the reason some people doubt it. In the history of food, many dishes become attached to stories that feel almost too perfect. A victorious commander, an inventive chef, a missing ingredient, a coastal city, and a new sauce born at exactly the right moment. It sounds ready-made for legend. And once historians began looking more closely, the questions naturally followed. Did the name truly come from a place on the map, or was that connection added later because it made the story easier to remember? Some old accounts added a more personal twist, suggesting the sauce was named to honor Richelieu's victory at Mahón rather than the place itself. At that point, mayonnaise stopped being only a tale about one military triumph and became something more complicated, a puzzle of language, pride, and culinary memory. For many people, the more convincing explanation no longer begins with geography at all, but with the very act that brings mayonnaise into existence. Maybe the name came from the act of handling and mixing. Another line of thought suggests that mayonnaise did not begin with Mahón at all, but with the French language itself. One of the most discussed roots is manier, a verb that means to handle, to work, or to manipulate by hand. That idea feels convincing when you think about what mayonnaise actually is. This is not a sauce that simply appears once ingredients are placed together. It depends almost entirely on motion. The oil must be introduced gradually. The whisking must continue. The texture changes only when the process is handled correctly. Stop too early and the mixture may split. Rush it and it may never come together. But do it well and it becomes thick, smooth, and stable. Other linguistic links have been suggested too, including moyeu, an old French word for egg yolk, and moyen, meaning method or means. In that reading, mayonnaise may not have meant a sauce from one place, but a sauce created through a particular technique. And that is why the debate still survives. One explanation points to history and geography. The other points to language and method. Both feel plausible. Yet whatever answer lies closest to the truth, the name could only endure if a powerful culinary culture helped preserve it. How France gave mayonnaise a lasting place at the table. By the late 18th and early 19th centuries, mayonnaise had begun to settle into French cuisine as a refined sauce served with cold meats, fish, and vegetables. It appeared in early cookbooks and gradually took on a stable place in the language of French dining. Whatever uncertainty surrounded its true origin, France played a decisive role in giving the sauce a recognizable identity. French kitchens shaped how it was used, described, and remembered. As French chefs carried their techniques and tastes across Europe, mayonnaise traveled with them. And that matters, because many foods do not become famous simply because of where they first appeared. They become famous because one culture learns how to repeat them, record them, and serve them often enough for the name to stick. France may not give us a final answer about where mayonnaise was born, but it almost certainly helped secure its place in culinary history. And once that name had taken hold across Europe, its next journey would carry it somewhere even more important: the everyday kitchen. The moment a refined sauce became an everyday staple, when mayonnaise crossed into America, it still carried a trace of elegance. It felt more like a polished dressing than a household essential. But in the early 20th century, that image began to change. And much of that change is tied to the story of Richard Hellman. A German immigrant in New York, Hellman began selling the mayonnaise his wife made in his deli. Customers liked it so much that it stopped being a quiet extra and became something they specifically came back for. Once people wanted it on its own, mayonnaise no longer belonged only behind the counter. It could be bottled, labeled, marketed, and carried home. Hellman even marked the jars with a blue ribbon, a small detail that helped make the product recognizable. Around the same time, Best Foods was developing its own version on the West Coast. The two names would later come under one company, but mayonnaise remained the common word. This was the moment the sauce changed roles. What had once sounded like a graceful European dressing became a familiar presence beside mustard and ketchup in homes. And that shift leads to a larger pattern. Food names rarely stay as still as recipes. A dish can travel far without ever staying completely the same. As recipes move from one place to another, names shift too. A chef adapts the formula, a region pronounces the word differently, and over time the name changes just a little. Those changes may seem small, but they gradually reshape how the food is remembered. Mayonnaise is a perfect example. Whether its earliest root points back to Mahón, to Mayonnaise, or to something harder to pin down, the name we know today was shaped by repetition, adaptation, and everyday speech. It is the same reason we have words like ketchup from Chinese K-stap or sauce béchamel, named after a French nobleman. Food names are living artifacts, little linguistic fossils that preserve stories of trade, conquest, and creativity. Today, mayonnaise is everywhere. In sandwiches, salads, sushi rolls, even cakes. Its name may still sound refined, but it has become one of the most universal condiments in the world. Ironically, most people say it differently: Mahonnaise, mayonnaise, or just mayo. And that casual nickname mayo shows how far it has come from its aristocratic-sounding roots. And for all that history, it still comes back to one very ordinary moment: choosing the right jar from the shelf. The 5-second rule for choosing the right mayonnaise. A quick 5-second check can tell you a lot. Look first at the main egg ingredient. If it uses egg yolks, the flavor will usually be richer and the texture thicker. which suits boiled vegetables, fries, or any dish where the mayo needs to act like the main dip. If it uses whole eggs, the taste is often lighter and gentler, which works well with meat or fish because it supports the main flavor instead of covering it. And if it is egg-free, that option is useful for people with egg allergies or different dietary needs. In just a glance, the ingredient list can help you choose more wisely. A small sauce with a surprisingly long story. Mayonnaise may look like a minor detail on the table, but its name carries far more than its appearance suggests. It may have begun in a port, in a technique, or in a story polished by retelling until it felt like legend. It moved through war, language, French dining, American shelves, and more than 250 years of everyday use before settling quietly into millions of homes. Today it can sound formal, casual, old, or ordinary depending on who says it. Mahonnaise, mayonnaise, or simply mayo. And perhaps that is how simple things often work. The more familiar they become, the easier it is to miss the long human story hidden inside them. A spoonful beside a sandwich may not look like much, but behind that small, creamy layer sits a history of improvisation, movement, and memory, waiting in plain sight. If there is another everyday item you have always seen but never really questioned, leave it in the comments and subscribe for more simple things made fascinating.